as days passed after the crisis or the attacks happened, I think certainly you had a lot more very focused, detailed stories on like one person or one business or one organization. So there was a lot more opportunity for follow-up stories. Certainly it was, a very significant time in terms of our country, our world, certainly our media, because I don't remember honestly there being an event in my lifetime that took up so much time, 24 hours a day on regular television stations covering it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really significant that every single TV channel out there appeared to have some feed of what was happening. So certainly it occupied quite a significant space for quite a while in our broadcast media, but I think newspapers were able to report on it and still continue to report on it in ways that television can't. And in particular, the amount of depth in the stories that I read made it seem like I was right there, even though I was living at the time in Georgia. Certainly, as is the case with most newspaper coverage, newspapers can get a lot more in depth. So you'll see a lot more personal profiles of the people who were impacted, people who had loved ones who died, people who did die. I remember the New York Times had a really interesting cover page that featured some of the people who had died in the attacks, and it was sort of a public memorial to them. So you can get a lot more visual information out there as well as more depth than you can on television because you have more space to do that. There was a reason why you couldn't find copies of the newspaper the day after the attacks happened. People wanted it, whether it's as a way to commemorate a really horrible tragedy in our country, but a way to remember the lives that were lost and the events that took place. So I think that certainly the newspaper has a place.